Hello everyone. I wanted to make this quick video and make it a part of the actual manual simply because there is a part in actually getting the software set up that a few people, uh, being that I know that I'm dealing with a lot of sharp individuals, and a lot of times we want to get through stuff fast. And the thing is that that last part, it takes more than 20 minutes. Some people's manuals had 20 minutes in it. I've updated that since then, but I've also added this video, and the reason being is because I want to actually show you how your actual screen should look once you've gotten everything actually installed. So what I'm going to do is show you how to install an emulator just in case you do not have a Android phone. If you have an Android phone, you can hook up your phone through USB, and it will actually allow you to open up your app within your phone when you get to that part. But for this actual video, let me show you first of all what I'm talking about when I mean everything in this actual screen needs to be installed. Okay, I'm just gonna show you this. See if I can make it bigger. All right, you notice that everything in this list that I'm looking at is installed, with the exception of some things that don't work. Okay, like these things, and this is under Android 2.3. They're not installed simply because some of those things just don't work. Okay, but for the most part, everything in this list, even if it's something that I may not typically be using, but the way that this works is coding. So a lot of times with these programs, one thing won't work because something else was not installed. Okay, so you just want to make sure. I see that this one thing is not installed, but very few things are not installed. You want to make sure that this list is about this long and that everything is actually installed. Okay, because if you don't, you will run into issues when it's time to actually compile your app into Eclipse. And the way that I got to this, if you just watch me again, I went to Window and AVD, Android SDK Manager. And you have to make sure that all of this is installed. The only thing that you really need to do if you need something to be installed is you can either go down this list and select them, or usually if, let me see here, you can select just the new ones, or you can select just the updates. You can do that. Then you click this, install 18 packages, and away you go. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to do, I want to show you this simply because in order for you to have the emulator, all an emulator is it looks like an actual Android phone on your computer, just in case you don't have an Android phone, like I was saying. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to install an Android emulator. So I'm going to go back to Window, and I'm going to go to AVD Manager. AVD stands for Android Virtual Device, which is an emulator. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is click New. You can name this emulator whatever you want. Just, don't put any spaces. I usually put it doesn't matter because it's not going to reflect in your app at all. I put Droid Monster. Now, for the apps that we're creating, you want to go down to Google APIs, Google Inc. API level 10. Okay, that's what you want. You want to choose that. The megabytes, the size, you want to put 1,000. Leave that at MIB, and you don't have to change anything else in here. You click on Create AVD. It takes. And one thing I wanted to show you I'm going to let it create, and I'm going to go back into it. I want to show you how this drop down menu, how it should look when you have properly installed all of the software. Okay, that's just details. We'll go to edit. Okay, did you notice how when I pull this list down, it's all this stuff that's in here, but I only chose one of them? If yours just has 4 right here, you're not going to be able to install apps. You're not going to be able to install this emulator, okay? So that's why it's so important to make sure that last step, that you make sure that everything is installed, okay? All right, so I'm going to close that out. Now, in order to pull my emulator out, if you notice here, I have all my folders closed up except for the topmost folder. I'm going to right click on this folder and I'm going to go to Run As and then Android Application. If you'll notice right here at the bottom of my screen, it's actually pulling up the emulator. This is how the emulator actually looks. What's going to happen is you'll actually see your actual the app that you created. It'll actually come up on the screen. I don't necessarily like the emulator. I use my actual cell phone, and you'll notice that if you don't have an Android phone, you'll want to get one at some point, simply because your apps look totally different when it's on a phone as opposed to when you're looking at it through this emulator. Plus, the emulator, it eats up a ton of memory. So whenever you can actually get that done, you want to go ahead and do that. Okay, we're going to give it a minute here. Okay, now we're back. I actually paused it because it takes a while for the emulator to come up. But this is the app the simple menu app that I created. Now I can see it on my actual emulator. You can actually click on these buttons in the actual emulator. My money page should actually show up. My money page is showing up. I go back and then I can click on the second one and it shows me my HTML. Okay. All right. That is it for this particular tutorial. And like I said, that is why it is so important to make sure that all of those those Android APKs are installed. And it just makes your life a whole lot easier when you go to start designing your apps. Thank you and take care.